coffee in the big time, yeah. Cup of coffee in the big time.
Hello Marvel Legends, I have just received a brand new figure hot off the press, and it is just a single isolated figure, not part of a wave, not part of a huge bundle. So what does that call for? It calls for a cup of coffee in the big time, yeah, big time cup of coffee. With the vintage retro Doctor Doom. Is it vintage? Is it retro? Well, what's like the official name? Because I always just mix them up and use them interdependently or whatnot. But look at the box. Isn't the box beautiful? I love it's so oversized. It's so much bigger than it needs to be. And it's great. I love this box for the Hulks. I love it for the Deadpool. It's just so lovely. It looks classy, you know? Très classé. Yeah, très bon. Mwah. This is really, really lovely. I love the old retro style artwork on the front. This is really great. You can see I've got the original Doom from this year, because isn't it appropriate that in 2020 we have two Dooms? Just like kind of sums up the year. You know, we've bookended it with Dooms, but I mean, what a gorgeous figure this is. How does this one compare though? Let's find out. Because I was really looking forward to this figure. I loved the promo art. I loved how bright and colorful he looks. So here is the back of the box with, you know, the retro style that we love. This is like straight out of the 90s from the Fantastic Four cartoon. The merchandise that came out for that like 25 years ago or however long it was. And here is Invisible Doom. Yep. You know why he's not in here? Because I already filmed an unboxing. You know what? You ain't never gonna see it, because someone accidentally deleted it off his phone. Yeah, I'm hella smart like that, but imagine if Doom was in here. Wouldn't he look great? Actually, he did. Like, this is the first time that I've really been so tempted to not take a figure out of the box, because just with all his accessories, he looked so great with the cartoon artwork on the front as well. Oh, it was gorgeous. You should have seen it. You never will. So, that being said, let's take a look at retro vintage Victor Von Doom. Oh me meow. This guy. Look, let's just go straight to the comparisons here, because a lot of you guys are going to be very, very familiar with your Dooms. Know your Dooms. That should be like a course that people have to do. For your Victor Von Doom's do's, your do's and don'ts of Dooms. Your Victor Von Doos. What was I saying? Have a fondue with Victor Von Doos do's. I digress. So the new Doom with his bright green colours, I say it all the time, say it with me. Pops off the shelf so nicely. My original Doom, I've given him Storm's Lightning, because Doom's got to have some kind of like power effect. He really does need it, and that works really well. Here, he actually comes with one. He comes with a lovely wibbly wobbly swirly green type mystical looking thing. He comes with two, in fact, but I want his other book to be holding the Doctor Strange type. I say Doctor Strange spell book because is this the Doctor Strange logo? Like that's what's on his window on his house on Bleecker Street, right? So I think this is a Doctor Strange book. So the other book is the Darkhold, and the Darkhold has gone straight over to my Carnage figure, my new Absolute Carnage figure, because for those of you who might not know, Carnage was resurrected by the Darkhold cult, because Carnage was dead. Like, well, Carnage keeps getting killed off. I mean, look, if you can get dragged out into space and ripped in half by the Sentry and still survive, death really doesn't mean much of anything. So he got resurrected by the Darkhold cult, which was what sort of gave him his power boost. So that Carnage has the Darkhold book, which I think is kind of fun. But Doom here gets the nice bright red Sorcerer Supreme book, and the detail on the inside of the book is gorgeous as well. Take a look at that. It's the same book pretty much that the Grey Beast has, and it's got the charts and the graphs, which I guess can apply to both science and magic. You know, what is it they say in Thor? What do you call magic? Or what do you call science? We call magic, or something like that. But yeah, it's a great accessory to have for Doom. It's kind of like, you know, you get a little bit perturbed, a bit annoyed grunt that you don't get more accessories with other figures when this one is the same price as other figures, and he comes with so much more, you know? So come on, Hasbro, you know you can do it. Stop holding out on us. But then they couldn't re-release the figure, so there you go. But I'm not mad that they did, because he's got just enough few little tweaks to make it worthwhile. A big sort of talking point is, of course, we have the cloth. we actually have different material. We have an actual soft goods, as it's called, a soft goods cape. And I like this, and I don't normally like soft goods. I'm not a wired cape person. I know that like a lot of folks have said like, oh, you know, I take off my ugly plastic capes and I do nice wired soft good capes. I'm just not a fan of that. I'm not a big fan of like mixing up the materials. I think it just looks, I don't know, it doesn't resonate with me. I like to have like my plastics and, I was gonna say my plastics and my soft good stuff, but I just don't like soft goods on action figures at all. It feels a bit too much like a doll to me, you know, and that's not some like macho thing. It's like, I don't know how to play with dolls. It's just, I just don't like the look of it. I prefer this more sort of statue type, statuesque kind of figure look that you get with just plastic figures. But that being said, just a little bit of fabric, it's fine because it doesn't sort of dominate the look. You don't look at the figure and go like, oh, he's wearing like removable dress up clothes. No. It's just a little something to give it a different tactile kind of feel. And I think that really works. I love it. I dig it. I'm down with it. So more, if Hasbro want to do, you know, more little touches like that, I wouldn't be against it. So doing the straight up comparisons, you can see the obvious one is just how much brighter the green is, but everything is brighter. The brown on the belt is brighter. The brown on his, you know, gun holster is brighter. This face is a lot meaner. This is more of a badass face, whereas this is slightly more, dare I say, slightly goofier. Okay, I don't mind saying it's a slightly goofier looking face. This is more sort of in line with like the cartoon look or kind of the sort of early, again, vintage, retro, like early 60s Doom look. But a lot of folks say that his eyes look a bit too like big and bright, but you know, his hood covers his face so much that you kind of want the big bright eyes to stand out more. So I'm fine with that. So as far as buying 2 Doom figures, you don't have to buy 2 Doom figures, all right? Only crazy people do that. Only people with YouTube channels. Well, that's not true, but that I use that as a justification for everything. It's like, well, of course I need to buy the new Rogue and Gambit because I have a YouTube channel. Therefore, people need to know. That logic didn't extend to the Hellfire Club, though. I'm like, I just can't justify it. I just don't care that much about them, even though it does look like a nice set. But anyway, this guy, look, if you can afford 2 Dooms, or if you're just silly enough to buy 2 Dooms, you won't go wrong. Like, this is a really, really good figure. And he is different enough that now I have this classic retro Doom to go on my classic retro shelf, and now I have modern Doom to go on my more modern characters. So that works great. If you could only get one, though, if you could only get one Doom, that's a big question, isn't it? And I gotta say, I would go with this fella. Even though I love this guy's accessories, I love the book, I love the swirly-whirly, mystical stuff, this guy looks more contemporary to the comics. He looks more legit. He looks more badass, more sort of real, like, you know, like this is what Doom would look like if he was in a made-for-TV series, you know, made in the 90s. Whereas this is Doom if he was actually in the MCU. This is probably how he would look. It looks legit, scary, really awesome. So they both have their different qualities. Badass, classic, sort of retro chic, which I love. So yeah, I keep seeing more things to point out with this character as I look at him, because there's so much going on. You know, either one of these guys could be a potential figure of the year, definitely. They're going to be in the discussion, at least. They're going to be in the discussion. But ultimately, I'd say the original one that came out earlier looks more badass, more sort of in line with his current comics look, so I would go with that. But my goodness, Retro Doom with the soft goods, with all the accessories, this guy is great. I love him. I love them both. This is a worthy update. All right, guys, I think that pretty much does it. So in the end, I still haven't, all these videos, I still haven't done like a scoring system, but I would give this guy an A, you know, maybe an A minus, but still, that's a solid A, definitely. All right, let's get you Dooms separated. And yeah, I like doing more comparisons. I'm going to try and bring more comparisons into my comic character reviews and whatnot. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, share, subscribe, join the 6-1 Clicks, follow me on Instagram, and all that good stuff. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Chill.